News of Michael Jackson's death spread instantly around the world tonight. Here in New York, it shocked the crowds in Times Square, in Uptown in Harlem, on 125th Street at the famed Apollo Theater. Randall Pinkston has more on the reaction.
At the crossroads of the world, New York's Times Square.
My heart really goes out to his family and his three children. And I'm devastated. I love him.
Stunned tourists couldn't believe the news.
Just breaks my heart to see somebody that young die.
He left a huge mark on the industry, and what he did in his lifetime, not very many people have done.
Uptown in Harlem, more shock, more sadness.
He was a part of our home. He was like a family. He was like family.
In every city and stage where Michael Jackson performed, fans and colleagues faced the fact that he was gone.
How long have you known Michael Jackson?
The very first time, it has to be sometime in 2002.
Singer and actress Ashanti is now starring in the Broadway musical The Wiz. Michael Jackson played the Scarecrow in the movie version. Offstage, Jackson's life was often controversial, even troubled.
I think people need to remember that he's a human being. As far as his legacy, all the positive things that Michael Jackson has brought to families across this world far outshines and far outweighs whatever the negative things that were thrown on.
And just hours after his death, fans in Harlem were celebrating his life, singing and dancing, but never as good as Michael.
Michael Jackson was one of a kind, or maybe two of a kind. Maybe it was all those contradictions that kept us fascinated, kept us wondering what the next chapter in the story would be. Joining us now to look at all of this is Lara Spencer, host of The Insider.
And Harry, that fascination began almost 5 decades ago. It started, of course, with his extraordinary talent as a young boy, but in the early 90s, the music became overshadowed by behavior that may have turned us off. Still, we couldn't look away.
Don't treat me like a criminal. I am innocent.
The good, the bad, the bizarre. Jackson's life is a meteoric rise to heights never before reached. His music transcending generations, uniting cultures. He was simply noble, and his mere presence ignited a fan frenzy. The public's fascination with Michael began at a very young age. Jackson was born into entertainment. In his teens and into his late 20s, he was on top of the world. Then, it started crumbling around him. In 1993, Michael was rocked by a scandal which tainted the rest of his life. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of a 13-year-old boy, claiming sexual battery, seduction, and willful misconduct. Michael had begun a friendship with the boy a year before, and when charges hit, Jackson's family fought back.
Michael has been made a victim.
It's been stressful for the entire family, but I can't imagine it's nowhere near the stress that I'm sure he's going through, obviously. But, I mean, he's completely innocent. I think it's just a bunch of BS.
Police went to Jackson's Neverland Ranch to collect evidence of child molestation.
They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body.
Michael continued to tour, and then another bombshell hit. In November of '93, he announced he was undergoing rehab for an addiction to painkillers. The child abuse investigation lasted for more than a year, but Jackson was never charged with any crime. He did settle the boy's lawsuit against him, saying he didn't want to drag it on and on. In 1994, Jackson married Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter.
It's rare that you let your secret really is.
The pair divorced less than 2 years later. In 1996, Jackson married dermatologist nurse Debbie Rowe, who later gave birth to his first son, Prince Michael, and his only daughter, Paris. They filed for divorce in 1999. In 2004, we were the only show to go inside her world. A world without her children, a world without Michael Jackson. 2 topics she wouldn't talk about.
My big fears I can't talk about. I wouldn't. And my biggest fear is that those fears happen.
By marrying Michael Jackson in 1996, Debbie Rowe became a public figure. But the brush with celebrity. What seems to bother Debbie the most? The fear that no matter where she goes or what she does, somebody's watching from the shadows.
I think people are entitled to privacy, no matter who they're associated with.
A reported confidentiality agreement kept Debbie from talking about any part of her life with Michael or their children, which we learned when we asked if there was any sadness in being Debbie Rowe.
Can't tell you this happened. And even if I could, I don't know the rest of it.
Jackson's third child, Prince Michael Jackson II, a.k.a. Blanket, was born in 2002, but the mother's identity has not been released. That same year, Michael made headlines for dangling his infant son, Prince Michael II, over the balcony of his Berlin hotel room. And more trouble in 2003 when he was accused of molesting a 12-year-old boy at his Neverland ranch. Jackson was officially charged with 7 counts of committing a lewd act on a minor. After a lengthy trial, he was acquitted on all charges. Most recently, Jackson was plagued with financial troubles. He was forced to give up Neverland Ranch late last year.
I love you so much.
His fans were awaiting the big comeback, a series of concerts in London expected to start next month. So what happens to Michael's kids? Will they end up in Debbie Rowe's care or with his father, Joe Jackson?
We can't lose sight of the fact that tonight there are 3 children without a father.
And hanging over this whole story is his precarious financial state. The London concerts were clearly designed to make a lot of money, possibly help get him out of debt, but at this point, we don't know what the state of his affairs is and what, if anything, will be left for his 3 children, Harry.
Those concerts sold out in a matter of hours. How much money might he have made had he been able to perform?
By some estimates we are hearing, he would have made over $400 million.
Myra Spencer, thank you so much. Michael Jackson was the kind of star who comes along once a generation. His star burned bigger and stronger and brighter than any other. The albums he made, the concerts he gave, are the stuff of legend. There are years in our lives when the soundtrack of America came from Michael Jackson. Young girls squeal, giant stadiums scream, boom boxes throb with the beat. Who didn't have a cousin who swore they could do the moonwalk? Who didn't own at least one Michael Jackson album? He was cool, he was hot, he was Elvis and James Brown, and we gasped as he fell to earth. He landed in Neverland, a place that was not so much a playground, but a prison, out of which he seemed to never escape. For all of us at CBS News, good night. We'll have much more tomorrow morning on The Early Show. I'll see you then.